Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Madhumita and you know me as Medico Madhu. Today we are going to discuss a very common topic, bronchial asthma. What is bronchial asthma? This is a condition where you have bronchial hyperresponsiveness, that is, there is increased response of your respiratory tree. So when we talk about bronchial tree, it's basically you have a respiratory system which has upper respiratory and lower respiratory tract. It starts with your nose, then it goes to your throat, and then we have a tube-like structure which branches out. It is called as the bronchi and the bronchioles. This enters your lungs. So this is how our respiratory tree is. So in that, if you see this bronchi, the tube-like structure gets spasmed. That is, it collapses when there is a trigger. So that is what is called as bronchial asthma. There are different types of asthma. So when I say this, basically it can be starting from the early childhood, in which case it is due to an exposure to an allergen. It can be transmitted in the family itself. There is genetic factor is involved. Let's say the mother or the father or the grandparents are having bronchial asthma, then there is a possibility that the child also develops it. What are the common triggers? It can be due to a dust, it can be due to a pet, it can be due to any fomite that is in and around you. Later on in the life, it can develop. So in this case, it can be due to an infection in the early childhood, respiratory infection. So that could have caused. So this will cause an antibody reaction inside the body, which causes an immune response. Apart from this, let's say that you are a chemical worker or something, and you are exposed to that chemical, or you are consuming the fumes of it, then that can again trigger. If let's say you are someone who has been stressed for a long time, or you have some psychological issues, that can also cause. If you're someone who exercises and you notice that you are having a difficulty in breathing, maybe you have an exercise induced asthma. If you're an elderly, then it can be a cardiac asthma, in which case you actually don't have anything related to your respiratory system, but it is because of your heart, which is manifesting similar to that of your lungs. So this is called as cardiac asthma, where we will differentiate and we will treat you. So how are we going to identify if you have one? So all you have to look for is whether you're coughing too much, whether you're having a difficulty in breathing. If you're someone who has sinusitis, you have nasal discharge, along with that you have been having a little bit of spasm, or you have acid reflux, and along with that you're noticing a spasm. All these things can indicate that you are actually having a asthma attack. Or you might be coughing too much without even having any discomfort in your chest at all. Or you might feel too lethargic. You will feel like there is someone who is compressing you without even a slight sound, which we call as wheezing. So all these are the common manifestations. So it's not always the wheeze that would be there. It can be any of these other manifestations as well, which can present as bronchial asthma. How are we going to clinically diagnose it? First, of course, we are going to listen to your history. Apart from that, there is something called as a spirometer. So in this, we ask you to blow and then we take the readings. In general, when you are normal, it can be absolutely a normal reading, or it might show mild, moderate or severe obstruction depending on the damage to your respiratory tree. When I say this, the normal can be when it has just started. It is a chronic disease. That means it is going to be lifelong. So as the disease progresses, if you're not treated properly, if you're not getting it under control, then there is a possibility that you have severe obstruction. Apart from this, we also do a test called as post bronchodilator spirometry, in which we give you the inhaler, we tell you to take the puff, and then we check your reading again. So prior to that, if you had shown mild obstruction, moderate obstruction or severe obstruction, after that we would notice an improvement. It can come back to normal as well. So this confirms that you do not have any other form of lung disease, but it is just your bronchial asthma that has caused. And apart from this, we can get a chest x-ray. Majority of the time it would be normal, or it can show slight hyperinflation. If we take an x-ray, it is mainly to rule out any other factors or any other causes that we are considering, rather than to per se diagnose your bronchial asthma itself. How are we going to prevent it? If you're someone who has been triggered because of stress, then definitely we are going to tell you to go for some programs which helps you in handling stress. Stress management becomes the main thing. If it is because of a chemical exposure, of course we are going to tell you to leave that work and join some other work, or to use the protective measures. If it is because of a dust or it's because of exercise, we'll tell you to take alternate form of exercise rather than going for the form that is triggering. And for the dust, we'll ask you to wear the mask so that you are not exposed to it. If we can per se diagnose that it's a particular food allergen or a mite or a pet, then we will tell you to avoid it as much as possible. These are the common preventive measures that you can actually follow to prevent you from developing another attack. Treatment definitely includes bronchodilators, steroid inhalers. There are different forms of inhalers that we would suggest you to use. That depends on the severity and the frequency with which you are getting an attack. There are oral tablets as well. When it is a severe condition, what we call as status asthmaticus, we might even have to intubate you. So it is always better to prevent it from progressing to such a range. You please take your medications at regular interval advised by your doctor. Kindly don't think inhalers are harmful for you. They are much more beneficial. They prevent you from developing a lung damage, respiratory failure, and to go and depend on a ventilator or a what we call as a oxygen supportive device. So you wouldn't be requiring any of these things if you're going to treat it, and you can live a normal life without any issues. I hope this video was useful. I would come and meet you with many more interesting videos. Kindly follow me for many more interesting medical updates.